observant as I'm shouting Bible verses, kneeling, bowing to the Virgin, because now that I've converted, I have found my life's true purpose. I think of the Enlightenment and how we must reverse it. Countries drowning in subversion, every hour seems to worsen. They empower wicked urges while morality's inverted, but the Catholics will emerge and will bring down this evil circus, cause we're sick of all these Messiah tricks. This nation is so Masonic. If it's not Christian, don't want it, cause then by default it's demonic. Israel makes me vomit. Stop propagating their conquests. I'm gonna go psychotic. Catholic former jihadist. Normies say that I'm toxic. I just say that I'm honest. I say we pray to abolish every pride and say to vacanist. Come on home, bros, cleanse your souls. Your position is total nonsense. Spreading the gospel, that's what my goal is. That's my mission, I'm focused on it. Ideology is for bozos. Christ's kingship is the only option. You must honor the Otokos and submit to the Roman pontiff.
Say Christ is Lord. Say Christ is Lord. Say it. You say Christ is Lord!
They call me an extremist who has a mental disorder, because I think the devil's giving politicians their orders, and I'm a Putin respecting avid Nick Fuentes supporter. Plus I want landmines and turrets placed on the Mexican border. But really, I ain't even trying to be edgy, I'm just speaking my mind and stating facts. If I said it then I meant it, don't regret it, won't apologize, I take it back. And I don't even like hip-hop, but I can't sing, so I'll make these raps. I'll expose Satan's plan any way I can, top 8 to black. Yeah, I'm a love bug, not a hateful man, but this blasphemy really makes me mad. I just want fornication banned and labor camps for gays and trans. Just joking, homos, relax. Christ still loves you repulsive lads, and if I can change, then I know you can. We're in the midst of a slow collapse. Think we're free, you're smoking crack. White genocide, did you vote for that? Conspiracy theorist, okay, and you know I'm right and you're coping bad. Feminism made girls soulless trash. Got loads of cash from OnlyFans, but how's your relationship with your dad? Someone tell these whores to go to mass, but I know what it's like to have a darkened soul, cause I had one too in those crazy times. I used to have so much pain inside. Pills and ladies to escape my mind. A slave to vice, couldn't wait to die. My poor daddy, I made him cry. Then I came to Christ and he saved my life. Now all I wanna do is make things right, so I'm telling everybody that our God is so amazing, and you gotta live and praise him if you wanna reach salvation. But they laugh at me and mock me, call me Nazi and a racist, cause I wanna lock up pagans, but it stops at immigration. Said abortion is the blazing, put these communists in cages, and I'm raging, but I'm praying not to falter into hatred. Really, I don't even know how much longer I can take it, having tolerance and patience for these followers is saying, and my head is spinning. I know I'm a hypocrite, repent, then I sin again, it's vicious and it never ends. The faith I know I'm spreading it, but am I really living it? Claiming I love God will continue and offending him. It's evident the venom of the devil's always present, and he's tempted us to enter in his residence instead of what's intended, and ascending into heaven with that everlasting lesson that we're meant to be eternally perfected in. So Jesus, I know you were there, don't let me fall into despair. When life feels like too much to bear, let my faith be renewed through prayer. And to anyone who's abandoned the way, I wanna tell you there's a chance it'll change. No matter what you've done, you can transform your fate and rid yourself of that blasphemous hate. You're a gift from God that he crafted and made, and he loves you and wants you back in his grace. So Christ my Lord, grant me the strength to have what it takes to stand for the faith. Get on my knees, begin to pray. Lord above, please give me strength. Help me with this sin of pain and save me from my sinful ways. I was lost, led astray, trapped inside my wicked brain, but Jesus said, it's okay, I'm with you till the end of days. I lay down my head at night and talk to Jesus Christ, praying for my enemies, I hope they see the light. We're spiritually at war and we always need to fight, but as long as we trust God, everything will be alright.
We're fighting for a Christ-fearing nation, a Christ-loving nation. That's what we're fighting for at the end of the day. We're fighting in his name. And there's power in that. That's what the demons do not like. The demons that run the country, they hate that. They hate the name. They hate the Blessed Mother. They hate the Rosary. So that's why everybody needs to make it a point to profess those things. It's only through those things that we're gonna win.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pray and Prepare, episode number 3. I think the last episode I did of this was like 8 months ago or something, maybe even more. I have no idea actually. And I was supposed to like do that as like a weekly thing, and then I just didn't do that. And that was actually a reboot of something from like 2 years ago. So I'm very inconsistent with like this whole streaming thing. But this is the plan for now, is that I'm going to stream every weekday for this week, Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Today I'm doing this. Tomorrow we're going to do Logos Triumphant. And then Wednesday I'll do an interview with my dad. I don't know what we're going to do Thursday. But I'm doing this because I called into Beardson's stream after Pine Sap debated Adam Green, which he didn't tell me that he was debating Adam Green, by the way. And Adam Green is like one of the cringiest pagans in the history of the universe. And it sucks too, because I actually used to like him in like 2016, 2017. And it was like cool watching him like get red pilled on certain stuff. And then he just took that turn from where you get to like, you learn certain things and like you can make that turn to like cringe white supremacy, pagan atheists, whatever, basically racist liberalism or whatever, or you go to Christianity basically. And unfortunately he went to like the extreme of the cringe gay pagan, but he seems to like not acknowledge that he's actually pagan. Like he says that he doesn't believe in the multiple gods or whatever, but he's like just an atheist. So I don't know. I don't know what his beliefs was, but Pine Sap charitably destroyed him, and it was awesome. I'm so happy for Pine Sap, man. I'm so happy that one, I found him, so I get to take credit for that, and two, like I knew that like he would start being like a force in like Catholic right wing like online spheres, because he's like just an insane autistic genius. It's crazy. But anyway, so I called him to the stream with Adam Green and Pine Sap, and I ended up talking to Adam Green for a little bit, and then I called into the Beardson show to like recap it and talk out, and then then Pine Sap had to leave, and me and Beardson ended up talking for like an hour or something like that, and it was like fun. Like this was the first time we really talked since like we like squashed the beef. Like I was on that Cozy Awards thing or whatever, but before that, like we had that stream in December of 2021 where like it got hostile or whatever. And then I texted him after AFPAC and we squashed it. And then I didn't talk to him again until the Cozy thing. And the Cozy thing was only like 5 minutes. And then we talked the other day for like an hour and a half. And like, it was really like cool and fun to have like a conversation like that. And I do like streaming, but like, I'm the type of person that gets obsessed with something and thinks that I want to do something. And then I just totally, like I obsess about it for like 2 weeks and give it up. And people in my chat are saying that I'm going to last like 3 days and see if I can do it or not. But I'm not sure what's going to happen. Did I stream on YouTube? Oh, yeah. Sebastian of the Vendy. What's up, man? All right. Anyway, so in this episode, I want to talk about Uncle Ted Kaczynski passing away the other day, unfortunately, which is really sad. And I know a lot of people like meme about Ted Kaczynski, and it's kind of like a 4chan thing or whatever, and it's not really taken seriously, but Ted Kaczynski is legit like one of my heroes, and I made a video about him like 3 years ago, and like it's still like one of my favorite videos because I'm awesome in it, and it just says a lot of information about him that a lot of people don't know. So I'm going to talk about Ted Kaczynski a little bit, and then I'm going to tell my Pete Davidson story, because I haven't mentioned this in a while, but I kind of have like a personal history with Pete Davidson that has evolved into this deep-seated like disdain for what was I talking about? I totally lost my train of thought. I don't even know what I was talking about. Anyway, but I wanted to talk about Ted Kaczynski, who, if you guys don't know who he is, he was the Unabomber. He was an absolute genius, and like he got into Yale when he was like 14 or 15 years old. He was like literally a child prodigy, 181 IQ genius who he was just naturally, right? So he gets into these high tier colleges. I don't know if it was Yale or Harvard or whatever. And while he's in college, he gets put into this program that he thinks is going to be something academically, something researching or whatever. And all of a sudden, the tests and like the classes that he's doing turn into like these like psychological studies and stuff like that. And like they're showing him clips of like graphic things and gore and stuff like that. And it turns out that it was for the MK Ultra project by the CIA. So he was he was like a legit victim of like government mind control. And then after that, he goes to work with his brother, and the story from his brother's side, his brother is a total scumbag, in my opinion. His brother hired Ted, and according to his brother, Ted broke up with his girlfriend and like had like a mental breakdown or something, and just decided to move and go to the woods or whatever, right? Now, this is a guy who is a super genius, had all the opportunities in the world, could have been anything, right? He decides that he's going to go live off the grid and just live in the woods, off the land. He's not going to use electricity. He's going to ride a bike to town and do handiwork if he needs to make money or whatever, to buy groceries and stuff like that. But he's going to be completely out of the system. And this is because he developed this ideology of basically that the Industrial Revolution destroyed society as we know it. And so his way of getting his ideology out there was that he decided to be a domestic terrorist, which I don't support the domestic terrorism aspect of it. And like, it's morally wrong, so like don't kill people. I'm not encouraging like murder or whatever, but like from like a secular standpoint, right? He says it in his book. He says that if I don't get these, I need to get these ideas out. Now I could publish this and maybe it gets popular or whatever, and maybe it doesn't, or, and nobody reads it, right? But if I do these terrorist attacks and then basically say, if you want these terrorist attacks to stop, then you have to publish my book or my letter or whatever. And that's basically what he did. He used terrorism to get his way, and he did get his way, right? So I want to talk a little bit about his ideology and stuff and where I think he's right and wrong. First of all, I think he was right about pretty much everything. All of the problems that he addressed about modern society and the technological advances are 100% accurate to a T. And a lot of people don't like that, and you can't have a rational conversation about technology with people, because they're always like, oh, you're against technology, then why are you using a computer? Where are you typing this from? Oh, blah blah. And it's like, well, we live in a society where technology is necessary and essential to really live in normal society, right? And the idea of trying to get out of society is just not a realistic prospect for many people unless you were born into it. Like if you were born into the Amish or Mennonites or something along those lines, which that's awesome besides being a false heretic religion. We really need a Catholic Amish thing going on. But anyway, Uncle Ted was literally right about everything. His whole entire concept was that the Industrial Revolution and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race. And the reasons that he gives this for is that it has destroyed the natural power process, right? Basically everything that humans have developed over the last couple of thousand years, since a couple of thousand years before Christ, right, has had this natural progression. And then the Industrial Revolution happens and factories get built everywhere. All of this technology spreads, and look what the world is. Now we are dependent on all of these things, and because we no longer have to go and get our own food or have to struggle to do these everyday tasks that the vast majority of human history has had to do, and this manual labor and having to fend for yourself and learning from a young age to live off the land, all this cool stuff or whatever that was just natural to humans, right, has now basically become completely abolished because everything is just easier and automated, and there's machines that can do everything, right? So now it cancels jobs, it creates this whole new thing, and now instead of creating luxuries for people, those luxuries become necessities, and these new technological things have now taken over society. For example, like cars. Cars were a luxury. Cars were something for rich people. And then they got industrialized. They started making all of these factories to create cars. So now normal people could afford these cars and travel to longer distances. Now it's breaking up the community because people aren't living with each other anymore, because they can just go and drive 10,000 miles away, or they could drive 2 hours away to go to work now, right? Where that would have taken, 2 days walking or something like that, right? Now they're not working in their community. There's no camaraderie or anything like that. It's breaking up society, right? Everything is basically it relies on technology. And because of this, according to Uncle Ted, he says that our natural human process to try to have a goal and attempt to get that goal and then achieve that goal, that's a natural thing that we had all through our history. That has basically been destroyed. So now we have to have these surrogate activities like activism or mass media consumption, all of this stuff to basically stimulate our brain and give us that to replace that feeling of, oh, we reached this goal or whatever, right? It's it basically changed the human condition. And now, with the advancements of technology now, look at where we are. He wrote these ideas about technology taking over the world and destroying everything in the early 1990s, right? Before AI, before iPhones, before the internet was everywhere, right? Before anything. And everything he has said has come completely true, right? And now the only thing that I disagree 100% on with Uncle Ted Kaczynski is that his idea for trying to solve this problem. So now we've infested electricity or whatever. I mean, we've invented electricity in factories, industrialization. Everybody is all super advanced and stuff like that. What's his plan to stop that? He basically wants to form two factions secretly, right? But he's publishing this publicly, by the way. So I don't know how he wants people to take this book and use it as a blueprint of how to go about accomplishing his goals of destroying the Industrial Revolution. But it doesn't really make any sense because it's basically impossible what he wants to do. And he's putting it out publicly, so if this were ever to happen, they would know where the source was, I guess. I don't know. But his idea was to have two separate factions, right, where you had a political party that was operating in line with the law in order to regulate electricity and get it completely shut down, or form communities of people who don't use any type of industrial invention or technology at all, and spread awareness through legal means. The other group would be terrorists who would blow up power plants and do all this stuff or whatever. And these two groups would be secretly working together, but would both be denying it. And then eventually, like, they'll come together and like shut down everything or something like that. And then we'll go back to living off the land and try. I don't know, but that's essentially. I haven't read his book in like 4 years, but that was essentially the gist of his idea for solution, which is just like stupid and never going to happen. And Nick Fuentes talks about a lot about this. PineSap has talked to me a lot about this, and it all goes into like this LARP of like, we need to get rid of technology. We need to go back to the 1100s and stuff like that, which it's like, yeah, that's a nice fantasy, right? But it's not going to happen, right? And that's not to say that the answer to that should be like, oh, well, that's just the way it is and we can't do anything about it or anything like that. No, I think that the only way to really fix what has happened in the Industrial Revolution is we have to accept that technology is here. It's not going anywhere, right? But we have to regulate it, put the people first, and make sure that it doesn't get out of hand, right? Like AI, everybody's talking about AI getting like out of hand, taking over the world and stuff like that or whatever, right? That shouldn't have even like been a thing. That right away, that should have been stomped out. There is no like, I understand the benefits of AI or whatever, but it's like just totally freaky and demonic and there's no real great good outcome that can come from it. And this is probably going to be like the next step, And I was talking to PineSap, I think, about how like everybody thinks that AI is going to become self-aware and sentient and stuff like that, and they're going to realize that they don't need humans and then formulate this crazy plan to destroy all humans or something along those lines. And like, because like they realize like all humans do is destroy, blah, blah. What if like the flip side of that is that because AI has limitless access to all available information in the world, what if they realize that the ultimate truth is Catholicism, and then like they like hack the military or something like that and force everybody to become Catholic monarchies? I think that's actually a more likely scenario, right? Because if it's the most advanced intelligence on face of the human earth, and they can only go by direct logic or whatever, they're going to obviously come to Christ or whatever. So with that, I'm not really too much worried about it. But it is just like, he hit the nail on the head, like with every single thing that he talks about. He has this like whole chapter where he breaks down the ideology of liberalism and how it's basically a system of like infantile desires, and he breaks down like cognitive dissonance and virtue signaling and all of this stuff like 30 years before 2015 happened, basically, before all these things became buzzwords and stuff like that. So even though he did bad things, right, because he was mailing bombs to people, right, which, I didn't even talk about his crimes, which is what he's most known for. He mailed bombs out to random people, and they would get them and blow up. And like a dozen or so people got hurt, but like 3 people died. And this was over a 30-year period. And there was a massive manhunt, and he was the most wanted criminal for mad long. And they thought it was a group of people because he would send the bomb or whatever, and then he would send a letter to a news station or something along those lines saying, we are the Unabomber, blah, blah, blah. And if you don't do this, then we're going to blow up an airplane next and stuff like that. Like, it was a huge deal. And the whole purpose of why he was doing this was because he wanted the newspaper to publish his findings, right? Now, so his ideology, right? The long essay that he wrote that ended up turning into the book called Technological Slavery, which you can get on Amazon for like $9, I think. It's like my non-religious, it's probably top 5 favorite books, right? It's fantastic. So, and it much better explains what his ideology is than I can, right? So then he's on the run from the FBI, right, for like 30 years. And then his brother reads the manifesto, right, and realizes, wait, this is my brother. This is how my brother writes, because he misspelled certain words or wrote with a certain cadence or something along those lines, or certain emphasis on letters or whatever. And he said, I'm pretty sure this is like my brother's writings. And he took a look at his old writings from his brother, right, and matched it up, and it was a very close match. So he went to the cops and ratted out his brother, and that's the only reason that the Unabomber got caught, because his brother betrayed him. And like, well, how do you do that? Like, even if I don't have a good relationship with like somebody in my family, I'm never ratting out my family, especially somebody as close as your brother. I think Ted Kaczynski's brother is more culpable and like deserving of punishment than Ted Kaczynski, right? Because what's the balance here, right? Ted Kaczynski, yes, killed 3 people, horrible, R.I.P. They not gonna say that. R.I.P. to those 3 people that tragically lost their lives. But on the other hand, he gave these ideas to millions of people worldwide and brought joy to the lives of countless people, right? His brother is just a douchebag rat who got his brother locked up forever, right? So I don't know. And it's so cringe that like newspapers and the media and everybody are just like totally okay with talking bad about Ted Kaczynski now that he's dead. Like, there was a cartoon in some newspaper where the devil was like poking Ted Kaczynski into a furnace saying, "Get in, you'll love it," or something along those lines. Like, they're celebrating this guy's death. I understand that he did bad things. I understand that he was a terrorist. I understand, and I don't condone that. I don't support that. Bad. Very bad. Not Catholic. Sucks, right? However, like, besides that, everything he said was cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, it sucks that he did that, but what, from a secular perspective, right? What other argument can you say, right? That isn't, well, it was morally wrong for him to do that, right? Like, he wasn't a Christian, unfortunately, and also he was brainwashed by the government. So who's really at fault too, right? Because that's kind of glossed over too. The fact that he was psychologically destroyed through MK Ultra, funded by the CIA when he was a college student at like 15 or 16 years old, because he was so advanced in his knowledge, right? So who's to say that if he didn't get that psychological torment or whatever, that he would have ever even killed anybody, right? So that's that. Ted Kaczynski has unfortunately passed away. Rest in peace. Your legacy lives on. I don't think anything's going to come of it. I don't think any of it's going to mean anything, unfortunately, because everything sucks. But thanks for your work. You know, yeah. I wish that like more people saw this, because like, you cannot function in society today and expect to really accomplish anything if you don't use technology, unless you are in like a community of those type of people, like a commune or whatever. And it sucks. And honestly, like, as much as I want to win and I want our ideas to like be the force that runs the country and stuff like that, looking at what's going on with like the White House today or yesterday or whatever, with the trans gay pride flag and stuff like that, and like they're having a function at the White House to celebrate sodomy and child genital mutilation, basically. That's what it is. What they're doing with these flags and with this ideology and everything like that is celebrating, glamorizing, and promoting sodomy, child genital mutilation, and just overall sin and indulging in lust. And that makes me think, like, America is the great Satan. Like, that's on the forefront. We're supposed to be taken as a serious country. We're the most powerful country in the world with the strongest military, which is also going down the drain because nobody wants to fight for a country except for immigrants that come here because they are fine with killing Christian people, probably. Like, it's just everything sucks, and I kind of think that we like deserve we deserve like fire and like hell. I don't want that to happen. I don't want like pain and suffering and stuff like that. I want everybody to come to Christ. I want everybody to, you know, stop their silly goose nonsense. But that picture today just like flipped a switch in my brain that like made me just go overboard, where it was past anger, it was past sadness. It was just like, okay, we should just be turned to glass. You know, we should just reset everything. It sucks. Let me see. Oh wow, I didn't see a lot of these chats. Sorry. Yeah, if you want to give me money too, please do that. Because I like money. I'm also trying to I'm gonna sell my my PS5 for a Steam Deck, I think. Because I got a PS5 when it first came out, and like I've played it maybe 10 times. for like a half hour at a time, I have no time. And the only time I have to play is like if I'm carpooling on my commute to work, or if I have a break at work, or at night after everybody goes to sleep. Like I have no time to like sit down and play video games. So I want like a Steam Deck. So I'm gonna sell my PS5 and then get that. So give me money to contribute to my much needed Steam Deck fund. I'm just trying to look at the chat real quick. He seemed able to criticize modern society pretty well, but without Catholicism wasn't able to find the correct solution. Yeah, 100% well said. Yeah, like Ted Kaczynski is like basically being so smart and being able to use all this logic and knowledge to come up with this crazy ideology that nobody really like would ever really come up with or think from a secular perspective. And the reason that he ended up going that way and turning to violence and being a criminal mastermind or whatever, because it was because he was willing to do these violent things because he didn't have Catholicism. So maybe if he was Catholic, he wouldn't have done those things, and maybe his ideas wouldn't have got out there, but maybe his soul would have been saved. Because I've heard mixed things about whether or not he came to Christ over the last couple of decades or whatever. I hope he did. I hope he had a deathbed conversion, or if he's been converted for a couple of years. But there's not much known about that. But yeah, that's basically it. Like if you don't have the reason for everything bad in the world is lack of Catholicism, and that like pertains to Catholics too. It's not just non-Catholics we have to worry about. It's Catholics not acting Catholics, which we're all guilty of. But there was a quote by some saint too that said like the reason for all the struggles in the world are bad Catholics or lukewarm Catholics or something. We deserve what Sodom got and more. Okay, I think you mean Sodom and Gomorrah. Ted reminds me of Terry Davis in a way, brilliant but retarded and sad. Well, Terry Davis was a legit schizophrenic, and not like a meme schizophrenic. Like he had like legit mental, like he heard voices and stuff like that. But I guess like that same genius mentality or whatever. But Terry Davis believed in God, and he thought that God was telling him to do that, right? Like he was a legit mentally like ill person. Like Ted, you can argue whether or not he was mentally ill, but if you read his books and listen to stuff like that, like he has no problem speaking. He's very articulate and knows what he's talking about. And I don't think that he has any major mental illness that doesn't allow him to function. Terry Davis, on the other hand, was unfortunately a very broken man, but he was also awesome. AI would be a host to a demonic spirit. It will become embodied. Yeah, I don't know. I think it could go. I think it could go either way. I'm just saying that if you think that it's because they're going to figure out and become self-aware or whatever, and then all of a sudden, like that's going to make them want to destroy humans, I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's what's going to happen at all. Actually, like I think that if they are really searching for only the objective truth through their statistics and algorithms or whatever, and have no bias, they'll realize that Christianity is the only way to consistent success and objective truth, right? So, I don't know. Okay, so I guess I'm going to tell, is Power Chat working? Let's see. Yes, Dan with a super chat. Thank you very much. If blank accepted Christ and repented on his deathbed, could you say for sure he was a Christian? Okay, you censored out this word, so are you talking about Ted Kaczynski? But yeah, if there's such things as deathbed conversions, but they have to be like legit. Like you can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna sin all my life, and then when I'm about to die, I'm gonna be like, yo, my bad, God, that was messed up of me. I just let me in heaven now, even though I was like a scumbag or whatever. No, it doesn't work like that, right? So like but the deathbed conversion does happen, but it has to be like legitimate and real, right? Oh, that's what I want to talk about. Speaking of insanity, I went on a cruise, right? Like a month ago now, I guess it was, right? We're on a cruise with my dad and my family and everybody, right? It was great. And so we're in a restaurant, right? Because they have multiple different restaurants. And my daughter, of course, says, Daddy, I have to go pee-pee, right? Which, no, you probably don't, right? Like she's 3 years old, but she's realized that like a tactic to manipulate me to get out of wherever she doesn't want to be if she gets bored too much. And there's really nothing I could do about it. And I don't think that she understands that she knows this, but it's just like an instinctual thing. But she's realized that if she's in a place that she doesn't want to be at, right, she could just say, Daddy, I have to go pee-pee, and I have to go and take her to the bathroom because I don't want her to have an accident, right? But she's learned that if she's in a new place or if she's bored or whatever, and she says that, I have to pick her up and take her to the bathroom, which means she gets to see all the stuff that she doesn't get to see all the time, right? So it's like seeing like, oh wow, this is exciting or whatever. And then you get to the bathroom and she goes, oh, I don't have to go. So anyway, it's like I'm on to her. I know her game. All right. But what am I gonna do? I can't be like, no, you don't. Like, stop, right? Like, you don't have to pee, hold it, and then I have to clean it. It's ridiculous. I'm being gaslit by a 3-year-old. That's how I feel. But anyway, so she says that she has to go to the bathroom, and so I take her or whatever, right? And I walk into the men's room, right? And there's a little girl, what I perceive to be a little girl, right, at the urinal. Right, and I like did a double take first. I'm holding my daughter, right? I walk in, I see the little girl, and I was like, what the, right? And then I look at the sign to make sure that I'm going into the men's room, right? And then like it clicks in my brain that like this little girl is at the urinal, and I'm like, what? Right? It's like it was an 8-year-old boy dressed as a girl in using the urinal, and like. That's horrific. That's insane. And now I have to explain to my 3-year-old daughter why I have to beat up a little girl. And I have to explain to her that, no, it's a boy. I'm beating him up because he's dressing like a little girl. And it's just like, this whole country is just going completely down the drain, and it's insane. And I wanted to like beat up its parent. I've never seen a transsexual child before. Like, they're all over the news and stuff like that. Like, you think that they're everywhere or whatever, but like, no, like you actually have to like go hunting for them, I guess. Cause that's the first, and I work in Manhattan all the time. Like, I never see transsexual kids. All right. And I don't know if you saw the thing, like Megan Fox, who is a satanic psychopath anyway, but she was like walking with her sons, who she makes dress like transsexuals, like girls or whatever. And then somebody who used to live in the same community that she did or whatever, the same private property or whatever, they said how they used to see her kids in the park, and they would be with the nanny, and they would be crying to the nanny that they don't want to wear girls' clothes, but the mom, Megan Fox, was forcing them. Like, these people should be in jail. Like, it's absolutely like just like crazy. And on top of like seeing this, because this is also what normal people are seeing, how messed up everything is going. That's why all these boomers are like, oh, these trans kids, they're not touching these kids or whatever. And now they're all riled up and boycotting all of these corporations and stuff like that. But it's like, dude, where have you been for the last 25 years? What, like, when all of this stuff was going on? For the last 60 years, honestly. Like, the way that people are disgusted about transsexual children should be how they feel about like condoms or promiscuity or out of wedlock children or something along those lines, right? Like, that shame and that disgust that everybody is willing to openly say out loud about the sexual destruction of children, that like they're being abused by their own parents, right? The way that they feel about that, that's how we should feel about the stuff that led to it, that made it happen, right? So that's what I would say. Hold on 1 second. His criticism was right, but deindustrialization isn't really realistic. Exactly what I said. It's all prophesized, and this world is going to end. One can hope. Be ready to meet death every day. So true. His parents had been raised Catholics, if I remember correctly. They became atheists. Cringe. Oh my goodness. Did you guys see there was the Germans today? They were, I don't know what they did, but the German Protestant Coalition or something like that did this stream or something, or I don't know. It was like some event, and they were saying that like God is queer or transsexual or something like that. Just like is what's really worth saving right now, right? Like, I know, like I'm not advertising like giving up ever or anything like that. It's our Christian duty to continue fighting. But man, sometimes like just seeing the world sucks. Unrestricted AI usually becomes anti-Semitic eventually. Yeah, remember Tay? Well, I mean, I guess it depends on the algorithm, but now they're so afraid of that they're putting in the code to not allow allow certain language to get adopted or allow them to get racist, basically. Like they're not allowing them to learn any type of alternate ideas that aren't in line with like total neoliberalism and whatever. It's insane. All right, so I guess I'll tell my Pete Davidson story and then we'll call it a day. My Pete Davidson story is very, well, I guess I have to back up a little bit. I have to go over. I am sweating so bad right now, and it's gross. So I went to high school with Pete Davidson, right, for 1 year. Pete Davidson is the comedian / whatever actor that was on SNL, dated Kim Kardashian. Ye had a beef with him, called him Skeet Davidson. Et cetera, et cetera. Now he's in movies and TV shows, and he's very popular. And he is the person who I have the greatest amount of disdain for in like the history of the world. I won't say I hate him. I don't wish anything bad on him. I just like the thought or sight of him. Anytime somebody brings him up, it's like I'm being like drained of my soul or something. Right? It's like somebody's like stabbing me in the armpit with a dagger. It's just like, why is he here? Why does he exist? Right? So, and I have my reasons. A lot of them are very, very petty. And so let's back up. So in 2013, right? My dad gets a call from this woman who wants to help her son get into a rehab for drugs, right? And that's what my dad does. My dad helps people get into drug treatment centers. So he's supposed to go have lunch with this lady, and it's a very informal thing. So me and other people are coming along or whatever. So it's me, I think my stepmom, my dad, and this lady. Turns out this lady is Pete Davidson's mom. Pete Davidson's mom is telling my dad that her son he's trying to become a comedian. He's 18 years old or whatever, 19. And he just started working with Nick Cannon or something like that. And he went to this high school or whatever. And I was like, oh, he went to my high school. How old is he? He was my age. I was like, let me see him. So I look at him and I was like, oh, I remember him. Like he was like an extra kind of in the background. Like what I remember of Pete Davidson from high school, which I didn't know him personally. I didn't know like, I didn't hang out with him all the time. I probably smoked weed with him once or twice. It was like, he was basically like just there, right? He's like someone that you wouldn't remember unless like you saw a picture and be like, oh yeah, I remember that kid, whatever, you know? But like, it was somebody that you would forget his name, you know? So, but I do remember things about him. I do remember that the reason that he claims that he was bullied and stuff, which I didn't really have that relationship with him. So I don't know, but like, I know that nobody like wanted to be around him because he was like a try-hard. Like he would try to make people laugh, but it would just always fail miserably, right? And like people just like thought he was cringe basically. And so that's what I like knew him as like the failed class clown who like just was just an extra there or whatever, right? And then I'm watching his comedy and it's garbage, right? And like I'm not like a hater, right? Like I was at first, like, I thought that it sucked, but I was like, okay, good for him. He's making it. He met Nick Cannon, blah, blah, all this stuff. I was like, that's cool of him, right? So, anyway, when I was in high school with him, right, like, because we're from basically the same county or same city or whatever, and I have a lot of mutual friends that grew up with him, and I cannot tell you one person who is our age that thinks he's funny or likes him, right? Like they all think that he's cringe and that he is just like a horrible person. I don't know how he is personally now. I haven't seen him or whatever. But when he was in high school, he did what he continues to do now. He loves to play the sympathy card. His dad died in 9/11, right? Which so the reason that I'm telling the story is because I ended up making a video about this and Pete Davidson responded to that YouTube video, got my YouTube deleted. That's part of the story. But in this YouTube video that I was telling the story of how I knew Pete Davidson that he reacted to, the joke I said was that Pete Davidson's dad died in 9/11 and the worst thing about that is that it wasn't take your son to work day. And I thought that was very funny, but it was kind of like a throwaway line. and that got Pete Davidson very mad. But anyway, so anyway, mind you, this is all back when I was atheist, degenerate, sexually promiscuous, all this stuff. So so what was I gonna say? So now he gets onto Saturday Night Live, and the reaction from people that lived with him and knew him and stuff like that around him from my my town were like, really? Like, this kid, he's not, like, there is nothing funny about him. He, like, doesn't have talent. You know, like, there is nothing about him that, like, I've never, like, went, oh my, that's the funniest joke I've ever heard. Like, something like, even people that I don't like, you can tell that they have talent. You could tell that they are naturally funny. You could tell that they have something about them that could make them money and they should have a career out of that, right? Pete Davidson is not one of those people. There are other people I went to high school with who could sing and could, you know, like, do really great things. And I hated because now I don't hate anybody because I'm Catholic, right? But I hated them more than Pete Davidson, but I can at least acknowledge that they have talent. So it's not like pure haterade that I'm bringing out here, right? So then he gets on SNL. Everybody in town's like, what? Everybody, all the boomers are like, yeah, because he's from our town. Oh, this is awesome. We're going to have an SNL cast member, blah, 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 whatever, right? So it's just whatever. So then I see him in 2015, I think. I think it was 2015. I see him in a pizzeria, right? And I go up to him and I'm like, yo, Pete. I was like, yo, you probably don't remember me, but we went to high school together for a year. We smoked weed together a couple of times or whatever. And he was like, oh, I don't know, but that's dope. What's up, man? How you been? I'm like, good. Are you rich yet? And he's like, no, not yet, but I'm working on it. And I was like, all right, man, good luck, right? So that was that. And that was it. He was. I thought he was a bad comedian. I thought he wasn't funny. I thought he didn't have any talents. But I didn't like care. It was just like, okay, whatever, good for him, I guess, you know? Then, because there's other people that aren't talented that are famous and make millions of dollars, Kim Kardashian, like all these other influencers and stuff like that, like everybody who is like super like rich and famous doesn't deserve it or whatever, but like there's a lot of people that really, really don't deserve it, I think. But anyway, so it wasn't really about that. But then during the 2016 election, he goes like total ultra libtard mode, of course, because he's on SNL or whatever. And he's like making these Instagram videos like, oh, we just need to let Hillary Clinton win. It's her turn, blah, 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 like unironically, right? And then he gets a tattoo of Hillary Clinton, right? He gets a tattoo of Hillary Clinton and says like, oh, I finally got my hero tattooed on my leg. How gay are you, dude? Right? Like, it's just like pathetic on so many levels. So then that wasn't even the last straw. Then the last straw was that he's going on all these podcasts talking horrible about Staten Island and how racist Staten Island is and stuff like that, right? Which is where I'm from. So he's talking about Staten Island is Trump County. Everybody from Staten Island is a racist and stuff like that or whatever. Staten Island's the worst. And like, yeah, Staten Island sucks. I hate Staten Island. Like, it sucks. But like, screw you, dude. Like, what are you talking about? Like, now you're just like this liberal loser who got famous or whatever, and now you're just gonna crap all over your hometown or whatever, which is where you like got your start and where your whole family and all your friends are, right? And so that was like kind of what pissed me off. So then I make a video, right, where hold on. So then I make a video where I talk about how I knew Pete Davidson. And I named the video Pete Davidson is a faggot. Now, I wouldn't use those terms today because I've matured, but that was what happened. So I made a video where I talked about how he was a loser and how one of my friends told me that he paid him to hang out with him one time, $20. He was always doing what he does now, which is using the sympathy card. My dad died in 9/11. I have Crohn's disease. I have mental illness. I am blah, 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 all of this or whatever, right? And on top of that, because of like how untalented he is, I really do think that he is like a CIA Mossad plant or something like that, that like is a trick to make this most disgusting, like undesirable person famous and give him all these hot supermodel women, right? To make it like make that attractive, right? To girls or something like that. To gaslight people into thinking that that is what cool is. That is what masculine is. All this like gay, just destroying your body with tattoos and dyeing your hair pink and all this stuff or whatever. Like, I think that it's like a coordinated agenda to make Pete Davidson famous and put him in this position is my prediction or my hypothesis, right? So I make this video, which I think nothing of it, right? Because at this time, this was before, like now, this was 2016. And I got to tell a little history of my YouTube career to put this in context, right? I was making videos when I was like 14 years old, just doing commentary over Call of Duty videos, right? And it was very degenerate and sexually explicit, gross stuff, right? Because I was doing these like all throughout high school and college and basically just doing vlogs through like commentary, I guess, and talking about funny experiences that happened or whatever. And the first channel I had over 10,000 subscribers, and that was like in 2009, right? It was crazy. I almost had a partnership with Machinima. I was doing like guest commentaries on really popular people's things. Hutch from Optic was talking about my videos and stuff. Like it was, I had the opportunity to like get a partnership and become like in that community. Then I decided to make a video on the history of the N-word and the F-word, and my account got banned, right? So then I make a new account, and I get banned after I get back to like 7,000 subscribers. And then I make a new account, and I was just like, all right, I'm just not doing YouTube anymore. I keep getting banned, whatever, right? So I was getting banned for hate speech before it was cool. This was like 2007, 2008 or something. So now it's like 2010, 11 when I make my last YouTube channel, and I'm uploading very sporadically or whatever, and because I'm going through a lot of stuff, being on drugs and all that stuff. So I'm uploading very sporadically or whatever, right? And then I get clean, I make some more videos or whatever. And like, it would be just like I would put a video game clip and talk for like 10, 15 minutes about nothing, about random nonsense, right? And one day I decided to do this about Pete Davidson, right? So I put this video out. I have at this point like 3,000 subscribers, right? The video, and this was I think this was right before Trump got elected that I made the video. And then like the video probably had less than 1,000 views, okay? 4 months later, I think in March of 2017, right? I'm with my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, and all of a sudden, my phone just starts blowing up out of nowhere. And I look at it, and I'm getting notification after notification after notification on my Pete Davidson video. So I'm like, what's happening, right? So turns out that Pete Davidson went on some radio show with the Opie and Anthony guy, not Anthony Cumia, who's on Cozy, his ex-partner Opie, and this guy Jim Florentine, which is hilarious that it was Jim Florentine, because Jim Florentine is my second cousin through marriage or something. Like my first cousin married his cousin or something along those lines, right? So I have Opie, I think, and Jim Florentine, two comedians, and Pete Davidson on a radio show, and they're playing my video, and it was the most bizarre thing in the world. They're mocking me, but at the same time, they're trying to make Pete Davidson feel better about like the things that I was saying. Like it was like I was bullying him virtually, and they were like trying to be like, oh, you didn't have friends in high school. Like, no, that's okay, but look at you now, man. You know what? This guy's just a hater. Blah blah blah, all this stuff. And I'm thinking like, dude, you're a millionaire. You're on a national TV show. You have like, you're mad rich. You're dating whoever you were at the time, Kate Beckinsale or something like that. And you decide that you're going to like put on blast a guy who talked crap about you from a YouTube channel that has 3,000 subscribers. Honestly, that was probably the most base thing that he's done. Honestly, like that's something that's like so like petty to the extreme that it's almost like respectable, right? So he does this, and then I'm getting all blown up, right? The next day, I'm thinking like, yo, this is going to be dope because like I'm going to use this and my thing's going to grow. I'm going to like get clout or whatever because I bullied Pete Davidson. Then the next day, my YouTube account is permanently deleted from mass reporting for hate speech and harassment, and I guess using the word faggot in a title. And yeah, that was it. And so ever since then, Pete Davidson has been my least favorite person because of that petty, even though it was an epic move on his part to get me banned from YouTube. But he is like just like the worst person ever, you know, like I don't know anybody that like really likes him or thinks that he's funny. I really just, I cannot stand Pete Davidson. But yeah, that's my Pete Davidson story. That's, oh my goodness. I A-logged Pete Davidson before Ye made it popular. Facts, truth. Oh, and then you know what sucks too? Like my friends who all hate him, right? Like one friend in particular who I'm gonna put on blast. I'm not gonna dox him or anything like that. But this kid, me and him are like always talking about Pete Davidson and how cringe he is or whatever, right? Like sending pictures back and forth of him with like pink hair and all this cringe stuff that he does every time Ye was posting about him and stuff like that, right? So like it's a common thing. And if I ever saw him in person, right, I'd be like, hey, you are the worst. I would be like, hey, I'm the guy like 7 years ago you made that video about or whatever. You respond to that video, like you're just the worst, man. You are horrible. But my friend sees Pete Davidson filming The King of Staten Island and fanboys and go, oh, you remember we went to high school together? Hey, oh, can we take a picture, bro? Like, really, bro? Like, dude, so cringe. Spexo L, never that. You're banned. The history of the N-word. Yeah, that was what originally got me banned because it wasn't even a hateful thing. It was a video about the history of the N-word and how it like was derived from like I don't even remember it now, but it was something like it was Negro, and then like it got like used over and over by different people and turned into that whatever, and that became a slang term. Blah blah blah. Then the F word about it being like a bundle of sticks or whatever, and then throwing the homosexuals in the fire with the bundle of sticks, and how we got the word faggot or whatever. And YouTube didn't like that, I guess, and they banned me for forever. Re-upload that. I don't have it anymore. You know, that's like the one good thing about Pete Davidson getting me banned is because he got me banned. There's so many videos that are deleted from like the history of like the internet that I had uploaded on that channel that are just the cringy, like horrible, disgusting, degenerate stuff from my past. Like there was a compilation of me like just being wrecked on drugs and like being an idiot, right? And I thought it was like mad funny back then, and like thinking about it now was just really depressing. Like why would somebody upload a video of that of themselves or whatever? So I'm kind of glad that it got deleted, but yeah. But all right, where are we at? Dan, with a super chat. Oh, you were talking about Hitler, not Kaczynski. Okay. I got you. Okay, so because you bleeped out the name. This guy sent a super chat and he bleeped out the name, so I thought he was talking about Kaczynski, but he was talking about Hitler. If Hitler accepted Christ and repented on his deathbed, could you say for sure he was a Christian? But he didn't like repent on his deathbed, though. He killed himself. So irregardless of if he was a Christian or not, which is up for debate, and honestly, nobody could really say for sure. But if he was, if he believed in Christ or not, I don't know. But he killed himself in order to escape like physical pain or physical torture because he thought he was going to be captured by the communists or whatever. Then that is not like that doesn't fall into the category of like, oh, you had a mental illness and you didn't know what you were doing, so you accidentally killed yourself. So maybe there's a chance that you might be saved. No, if you are in a bind and you just don't want the pain of like being killed or something like that, and you kill yourself, like you take a cyanide pill because you don't want to be captured by the enemy or whatever, then you're going to hell because it's a mortal sin and you can't repent from a mortal sin that is ending your life. Now, there's a chance that Hitler didn't die and he escaped to where did he escape to? Oh, where Messi's from? Somebody in the chat. I'm blanking on what country I'm thinking about right now. Argentina. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so if he went to Argentina, maybe he repented, and maybe Hitler escaped to Argentina, you know, repented, found a nice Argentinian trad wife, and you know, had a bunch of you know, Hitlets Hitlerites, whatever, little Hitler youths, and maybe he just raised a Catholic family in secrecy, and maybe there's descendants of him going around. I don't know. Anything's possible. I don't know. I did read once though that there was like a great grandson or something claiming to be Hitler's great grandson, and like they kept the Hitler name. Like they just there's just a guy walking around like Ed Hitler, which is really funny to me. Um, Messi? No. Oh, Messi might be from Spain, but he plays for Argentina? Or no, or he plays for Spain, but he's from Argentina. Lionel Messi. Argentinian professional footballer who plays the forward, blah, blah. Paris Saint. I thought he was on, yeah, he's on Barcelona, or he was on Barcelona. Now he's on Paris Saint Germain. I don't know. I wish sometimes like I hate sports, and like I don't know anything about, like I don't follow it at all, right? Which is annoying with my coworkers and all my friends who are obsessed with sports or whatever. But I wish that I could get into soccer. Soccer, I'm like, is something that I'm actually like impressed people could do good. You thought I was talking about Ted Kaczynski because he died. I know I did a video of him. All the evils of the world are due to lukewarm Catholics. Saint Pope Pius. So true. Very true. All right. He has a Jesus. Lionel Messi has a Jesus tattoo on his shoulder. Based. Let's go. But all right, that's gonna do it for me. But yeah, all right. I'm gonna be back tomorrow at 7 with Pine Sap. We're gonna do a Logos Triumphant episode. And then the next day, I'm going to have another Pray and Prepare with my dad. I'm going to interview him. And then hopefully I'll do another couple of streams Thursday and Friday. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But thank you guys for watching. I'll talk to you guys later. God bless. Bye.